Hi everyone, welcome to this on-demand briefing with regards to the T-level Occupational Specialism. This is the third in our Keeping It Simple series for T-levels, and in this particular briefing we're going to look at the Occupational Specialism. So we're going to look at what it looks like, how it's assessed, how it's graded, and also some further supports that is specific to the Occupational Specialism. So if you've watched our Introducing T-Level briefing, you'll have seen this slide before. And this is the structure of the Occupational Specialism. So the OS, for short, makes up approximately half of the T-level. And in this example, we've taken it from the Design, Survey and Planning for Construction T-level. You can see that the OS is 600 guided learning hours. This T-level has got 4 specialisms that can be offered, and you can see these in the left-hand column highlighted in blue. And the student will take one of those specialisms. Each T-level has a different number of specialisms, some just 1, some as many as 7. But as I said, a student will only ever take one of the specialisms. The OS is the more practical part of the T-level, and it's more likely this is what your students are going to enjoy the most. And because of that, we would suggest introducing the OS early in your delivery. This will give your students sight of their final goal, it will keep them motivated, and it will also help put some of the core knowledge and content into context. The OS should be really hands-on and really practical. We suggest engaging with local industry to help support your delivery, either through delivering the practical skills, having guest talks about their business, or a project that they're working on, or hosting open days for your students to see the skills in a real work environment. And of course, the OS is also supported by the industry placement. So whilst the industry placement is not part of the OS assessment, it's going to certainly help your students cement their learning into a real life environment, thus giving them better outcomes in their assessment. The OS is split into performance outcomes, and each performance outcome is broken down into several skills statements. And these are what your students are expected to be able to do or demonstrate. There are also a number of underpinning knowledge statements, and these are what your students need to know or understand to be able to demonstrate the skills. There's a single synoptic assessment for the OS, and this is an extended project, and it's going to be set and it's marked by us. And your students will undertake the project over several weeks. The synoptic element of the project is really important because this is what ensures students can demonstrate threshold competence and are able to evidence all of the skills. The project consists of several tasks and they emulate activities undertaken in a workplace situation. And they have an overarching narrative that links the tasks together. The format and the structure of the OS project remains the same over the lifetime of the qualification. But what changes is the scenario and the context of the activities within them. And the OS is awarded a pass, merit and distinction. So the pass, merit and distinction is then aggregated with the core grade of A star to E. And that's what gives the overarching T-level grade. And again, if you've seen our Introduction to T-levels briefing, you'll have seen this slide before. Just like the core, you can find the specification, sample assessment materials and teaching materials and past papers and examiner reports via the technical qualification webpage, and they're all under the course materials section. For the OS component, there are also guide and grade exemplification materials. So the guide materials are completely exemplar. The grade materials have been taken following live assessment. So these show live examples of student work. and they're shown at pass and distinction threshold. And they include examiner commentary on how the student responses fared against the grade boundaries. Again, just like the core, you'll find lots of support on our training and admin page. Specifically for the occupational specialism, there's a Getting to Know the Spec event that is an on-demand session that you can download. You can also book live training for getting ready to teach and getting ready to assess, and book onto our regular Q&A network sessions. And you can also access our recorded archive. So if you've missed a session or want to watch anything back, you can do so. You'll also find the administration support guide for the OS assessment. This gives you detail of how to administer the assessment, the levels of control, the resources students are allowed for the assessment and ones that they'll need, and also the submission of evidence. So when to submit evidence and also how to submit evidence. Plus you'll find all of our admin support and training. So for information for exams officers, you can watch our termly policy updates. You can also access things like the key date schedule and the fees list. For the occupational specialisms, we work really closely with our employer partners, and some of those support T-levels over and beyond just delivering and helping us create the specification. And therefore, they've created delivery and support packages that can help you as a provider. For example, ACCA support the T-level in accounting, and you can access their ACCA X, which is a free online course that can be used by students to support their learning of key accounting principles. We've also got links with QuickBooks and Sage, and they provide industry software for you and your students to use as part of the T-level in accounting. The Chartered Institute for Insurance provide free teacher training programs for the T-level in finance, and they support specifically the insurance practitioner and the investment banking and asset and wealth management occupational specialisms. And we also have links with Moby for construction. In addition to the information that's specific about the occupational specialism, we've also got all of our generic T-level information. So each technical qualification has a qualification description, student journey, brochure and poster, all designed to support initial advice and guidance and recruitment. We've got dedicated student webpage where students can learn more about T-levels. They can read stories about other T-level students, learn more about the progression routes available for T-levels. So great for students and also great for parents as well to gain a little bit more information. We have a dedicated employer page, and from here you can learn more about our employer partners and see some of those resources that I was just talking about. And also we have a monthly T-level update. So we send this out each month with the exception of August. And this gives anybody who's signing up to the updates information that is current to T-levels right there. So it will give you important dates, some actions that you might need to do, making registrations, entries, etc. It will also tell you about perhaps some of our training, maybe some of our resources that have been put online, because we're always developing and creating new content for T-levels. Thanks very much for listening.